We try to bring you high-quality educational informational content every single day.
Can you turn that off for a little bit and turn it back on maybe in 20 minutes?
Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your week daily morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and a few bloopers. So shout out to my lovely wife who you just heard me talking to. Today is our anniversary. So shout out to my wonderful, beautiful, awesome, amazing bride. It has now been 2 years, and it's really cool because it means that it's a great day for two reasons. Number one, it's my anniversary. But number two, Bitcoin just hit all-time high. Very, very exciting stuff. Today we're going to be talking about how Bitcoin just rallied to $69,000, and we are going to be letting you guys know that we have a couple of warnings that we are going to need to watch out for as we proceed here. We're going to look back at the last several bull markets, and we're going to pay very close attention to how Bitcoin has hit all-time high and how it has had a very hard time breaking through it, at least for a couple of days, before it actually ended up breaking through it. Now, make no mistake, I do believe that Bitcoin is going to be trading above $70,000 consistently within the next month. What I do also want to warn you guys about today is the potential of a short-term corrective movement. Do apologize for the lag. It should clear up here in just a second. Let's go ahead and read some chat. And we've got a lot to cover today. We've already got almost 300 people in chat. Thank you guys so very much for all of your support. Satchet321 is in chat, said, big day. Crypto Trucker Mike saying, yo. Drian121 said, hey, Jeb. Give me 1 second here. We've got Marley120 Thirst in chat. Hang on. All right, Scott A is in chat, Joe Bollier's in chat, the French Toast Breakfast Club is in chat, Crypto Ohio, Crypto Mini Bike, and everybody else in chat. Crypto Mini Bike said all-time highs, everybody. Congratulations to everyone that sat through the bear market. Yes, that's one of the things I want to mention today as I bring the chat back up here on my phone. That's one of the things I want to mention today to start off the stream, that I want all of you to know that I'm very proud of every single one of you that was able to hold through the bear market. And I'm very, very excited for all of you that were able to hold on tight and not lose faith. There were so many of us that had been given so much FUD. There was so much FUD about, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's going to zero. The altcoin space is dead. Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. The SEC is going to shut it down. The US government's going to ban it. There's going to be an EMP that takes out the internet. So much fun, and it was a lot of complete nonsense, to be totally honest with you. But luckily, we are in a place now where Bitcoin has shown the haters once again that it is here to stay. So let's jump on over to CoinMarketCap and to TradingView, and that also ought to cut down on the lag a little bit because it won't be as obvious. We should be able to fix that here in just a moment. But as you guys can see, Bitcoin is currently trading at $68,234 here on CoinMarketCap. We have breached above all-time high, so major, major bullishness is in order there. And we also see that Ethereum is trading at $3,800. They are both up nearly 20% in the last 7 days. They have added hundreds of billions of dollars in market capitalization in just a week, and we have gone ahead and rallied very, very aggressively. We're going to jump straight onto the chart and start analyzing it, guys. Bitcoin did rally up and touch all-time high in just the last couple of hours. Bitcoin almost touched it at 8 p.m. last night when we rallied to $68,826. Our exact level to beat has been $69,989. That was the exact all-time high. I'm sorry, $68,989. We did recently hit the all-time high just a couple of minutes ago. We rallied all the way up right at the top of the stream above all-time high to a new all-time high, not a new yearly high. Now we get to say all-time high. Now we have rallied to a new all-time high of $69,317. We're going to get as close as we possibly can to this. $69,325, I think, is the number that we're going to go for. Now, the concern that we have here, and why I'm so excited that we're live, is that what many of you guys may not understand is that the historical charts have a lot to say about what's going on right now on Bitcoin. And we ought to pay very close attention to them. Why? Well, overnight, Bitcoin dropped a breathtaking $3,600 in the span of just 3 short hours. And that is something that we have seen happen before. If we go on the daily chart and we look back at every other previous all-time high breakout, what we will see is that Bitcoin has done the exact same thing. Bitcoin rallied up to the $20,000 all-time high, or just shy of it, about $19,500, back on the 24th of November 2020, and we immediately, within one day, within 24 hours, Bitcoin would drop $3,000. After we then rallied up and tested all-time high and broke it by just a couple of dollars, Bitcoin would go into a protracted 11-day correction before we finally broke out and went parabolic. Now, I want to be very clear. By all measures, by all accounts, Bitcoin is most likely to absolutely explode in price very soon. I think a run up to $100,000 blue sky territory is coming. I do believe that. That being said, it is my job to tell you what you don't want to hear sometimes, because I love you and I want you to be prepared for it. And the warning that I have for you today is that we might not just go straight into blue sky breakout. So if you're about to go into a 10x long, pause. Oftentimes, in fact, every time that Bitcoin has hit all-time high in history, Bitcoin has had a protracted correction for about 2 weeks, sometimes longer. Again, in November of 2020, before we broke 20K, we dropped 16% in 24 hours. That would wipe out your 10x long. That would almost wipe out your 5x long. Here we've dropped 11% in 10 days. We would also wipe out your 10x long that you were thinking about doing. I know I'm talking to one of you. Who is it? I'm prophesying. One of you in chat was about to do that. One of you in chat was about to get wrecked is what was about to happen. Now, you also might make a lot of money, don't get me wrong. But one of you is probably about to go into a slightly premature 10x long. I'd love to hear if one of you guys was going to do that. Now, let's look at the history again, and then we'll get back to the short-term analysis. Right now, Bitcoin is not above all-time high. I'm watching the price. We'll jump back over there if we get there. Now, the exact all-time high that we set here on Bitcoin in December of 2013 was roughly $1,156, we'll say. When Bitcoin, exiting the 2014-15 bear market, rallied up to that level, it did not stay up there. In fact, we rallied to that level, and guess what happened? We got within just a couple of dollars of the all-time high at $11.38, about $20 from all-time high, and then we crashed all the way down to the 0.786 level, $750. You want to know how big of a correction that is? Try a 35% corrective movement in a week. Bitcoin then would go on to rally above all-time high and spend a couple of weeks up there, and then from the high to the low, we would drop another 35% before we found support on the all-time high, and then we actually took off. This was based at April 17th, 2017, was essentially day one, hour zero of the actual 2017 bull market that happened post all-time high run. Point. Both of the last bull markets began with a brief rally above all-time high, followed by at least a 20% crash. Should Bitcoin go through a 20% crash from all-time high, that would drop us back down to $55,000. Well, wait a second. We've got support down there at 53. And if we go onto our linear chart, that's also where the 0.786 Fibonacci level is. If we were to drop 16%, that would obviously bring us down to the 0.786 Fibonacci level, right? So the warning that I want to give you today, before we celebrate, and don't get me wrong, we are going to celebrate. I'm not going to poop in your Cheerios. We're going to have some fun here. The warning I want to give you today is that this chart, did I delete it? I may have deleted it. This chart, I think I deleted it actually. I did. Oh well, this chart right here where I talk about how it may take 42 days to break above the all-time high is still very much in play. I expected about halfway through this 42-day box that we would hit all-time high. I expected that. We talked about that. I said at latest I'm expecting that we will hit all-time high on March 25th. Actually, excuse me, I said we'll hit it and break it probably around March 25th. That's still 20 days away, about 3 weeks out. There very well may be a protracted correction for a couple of weeks to come as people take profit. Now, why logically would that happen? Think about it. You bought Bitcoin at $27,000. You bought Bitcoin at $24,000. You bought Bitcoin at $15,500. You were faithful, man. You bought that, and it's up 4x. And now you're eyeing some of these altcoins that might 10x from here, and you say, wow, monkey brain math. I just made 4x on Bitcoin. If I go sell that, pay the taxes, let's call it 3x is profit. I take the 3x, and I can go put that into Cardano, which will 12x. I'll get 10x profit. I get 30x. How many people are thinking like that right now? They're thinking, man, the altcoins are undervalued. Man, I just made a bunch of money in Bitcoin. Let's sell some Bitcoin and buy some alts. Two conclusions from that. Number one, we are about to have some sell-side pressure coming into Bitcoin that we have not seen yet. Number two, the altcoin season is coming. There is wisdom to say, let's take some profit out of Bitcoin Again, setting aside 25 to 30% for taxes. Let's take aside some of our Bitcoin profits. Let's cycle it into the altcoins. There is a place to do that, and I would not fault a one of you if you did that. Okay? I will warn you, if you're thinking about entering a long, you're going to probably make a lot of money on that long if you get the timing right. I'm talking about a leverage long. If you go long on spot and there's no leverage and it goes bad, then just hold on to it. My philosophy has always been, if you're not trading with leverage, then if a trade goes bad, just roll it into your investment portfolio, just throw that sucker in there, and in 5 years, it'll be in profit anyway, right? I mean, come on. Just put more cash into the trading portfolio. Oh, great, now I got a bigger investment. Great. Cool. It'll be more, just about anything, if it's worth anything in crypto, hopefully it'll be worth more in 5 years than it is now. If you're on leverage, though, and you enter into a 5, 10, 15, 20, 25x leverage long trade right now, you may be about to get wiped out. That's the warning I have for you. Again, I don't want to take away from the celebration here, but there is a great likelihood, and it may not happen. There's a great likelihood that we could have a large correction. That being said, how do we take advantage of a big breakout? Because it is likely to come very soon. Okay? What do we do with that? At some point in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and it may be in the next 2 to 3 minutes. I mean, we could leave this market behind, and we could blast above 70K and never come back. That is a possibility. We've never had an exchange-traded fund before for Bitcoin. That's a big deal. We've got billions of dollars of inflows from that, guys. Billions of dollars. And that's just the inflows to the actual ETF. The amount of inflows flowing into Coinbase and everything else because of the exchange-traded fund bringing trust to the space and bringing confidence in the bull market of space is probably untold tens of billions, if not over $100 billion of inflows just from the exchange-traded fund being approved. So we may leave the history behind. The trend has been accelerating, as most markets do. We spent only about a quarter as much time below all-time high in that little kind of transitionary phase as we did the first bull market. What I mean by that is that we spent, between the time that we basically hit all-time high and left it behind, was 102 days in this bull market. The most recent bull market, before this one, of course, we spent, between the time we hit all-time high and actually broke above all-time high, we spent like 21 days up here. So it's like a quarter as long, a fifth as long. We may follow the same trend, and Bitcoin could just blue sky break out the heck out of here and go straight up to $75,000. That's a possibility. Fidelity has even said that Bitcoin's going to 75K, which, Fidelity being such a large asset manager, they basically have the ability to prophesy and make it come true because everybody's going to buy it until it gets to $75,000 over on Fidelity through the Fidelity exchange-traded fund for Bitcoin, which has a ton of volume in it. So we may leave that trend behind. We may only stay here around the resistance level for about a week. But again, my point is, be careful on those really aggressive long trades. But when do you make the trade if you're planning on trading Bitcoin? When do you make the trade? Well, you make the trade after you clear the market. After you clear the high and you have a lot of volume and there becomes this confidence that, okay, we left it behind. Or if we get a back test. If Bitcoin rallies up here above 69,325, which is our new all-time high, we did set a new all-time high for anybody who just tuned in. On price, we set a new all-time high on market cap a few days ago. If we backtest down to 69,325 and then bounce off of it, right here is where you would enter a trade. And then you would have a conservative stop loss. I'm not real interested in you guys getting liquidated because you tried to bet the farm on a 50x leverage. I just saw a thumbnail earlier about somebody who lost $600,000 day trading. You've got to be careful. Trade with what you can afford to lose is my plea for you this day, because many of you guys are thinking about making a big trade, and go for it. That's fine. Just make sure you're being safe and using appropriate leverage and appropriate stop losses and being safe with your risk and investing less than you can afford to lose. You're going to make a lot of money investing right now. To be honest with you, there's still 5 to 10x opportunities out there in this bull market, and even more if you know how to pick really small cap altcoins. And to be level with you, it's going to be very hard for you to make that kind of return trading. Unless you are an extremely experienced trader, you're probably going to make more money just investing for this season. Trading tends to be the more profitable route on the bear market because there's not really the ability to invest, so you have to make your money by shorting. So just keep that in mind. If you're thinking, oh, this is my chance to make a trade, but you have no investments, you did it backwards. Get your investments straight and then trade on top of that sound investment strategy, which we teach in a bunch of different content. All right, so we've covered the warning. We've covered how Bitcoin will break out. We've covered where to put the entry. But now let's talk about how money is probably going to cycle into the altcoins. And we'll be talking about that here in just a second. I do want to let you guys know before we go any farther that today's stream is brought to you in part by Blowfin. If you sign up for Blowfin, you're going to be getting access to an awesome exchange, and I'd recommend you sign up for them today because Blowfin's got everything you need. You can buy crypto. They do have a fiat to cryptocurrency gateway here. They've got over 300 spot markets. So if you're looking for a cryptocurrency, Blowfin's probably got it. And by the way, they're also blowing up, no pun intended, but I'll take the win where I can get it because they've got so many new signups. They've got so much volume, and the reason for that is because they are non-KYC. You can sign up for Blowfin with no KYC. I love that because I want you to stay sovereign over your identity. The less you have to put your identity out there online, the better, unless it's your job. Obviously, it's my job, but for you, I'd rather you stay as anonymous as you can. They are non-KYC, and they are fully secured by Fireblocks for their custodianship. If you don't know, Fireblocks is basically the Fort Knox of cryptocurrency. They are extremely good at protecting your assets, so your assets will be safe. They also have a couple of things that you're probably going to find pretty interesting in this market, namely copy trading. So many of these copy traders out here are making a ton of money because they do this for a living. This guy, BTC Day, has 17 people copying him, and in the last 7 days, he's made 454% with a 70.7% win rate. If you hit this button, copy, then you will be able to go over here and see all of his trades and his overall portfolio balance and see how he's doing, and you can set it up where Blowfin will automatically copy what he's doing with money that you deploy, and then you can go ahead and win right alongside him. He's doing a pretty good job. And so if he continues to win, then you'll win. Obviously, if he loses, he'll lose. But that's why you pick a good trader. And last but not least, over here in futures, you've got access to that leverage that you're looking for. I know you're probably going to go try and do some leverage trades. I'm not even going to try and stop you because I know you're probably going to. If you're going to, I would recommend you use a good exchange like Blowfin. Make sure to go and sign up for Blowfin with the link in the description box down below. Let's read chat for a couple of minutes, and then we will continue to talk about the altcoins and how we are going to make some money. Randomness said, lost 600K. Yikes, get wrecked. Yes, that is why I teach you guys a proven, tried and true, tested over and over again formula for getting rich. I want you to get rich. I want you to get wealthy. But the Bible talks about the people that try and get rich quickly will often lose it quickly. And you know that. You know that to be true. You've watched the news enough to see the different people that are in the NFL get a $30 million contract, or $5 million contract. And you know what happens? They tear an Achilles, and then they're out for 3 years, and they're bankrupt because they got rich quick. They didn't get rich because of their financial knowledge. They got rich because of another reason, which more power to them. I'm not complaining about how much money athletes make. If that's what they're worth, then that's what they're worth. That's none of my business. But my point is, if you get rich quickly while not learning how to manage it and you're not learning how to grow it, you will lose it quickly. Know anybody that's won the lottery? Are they still rich? Probably not. Know anybody that had to grind and had to put in the work for 10 straight years and fail and fail and fail and fail and fail, and they had to work at it every single day? Those are the kind of people that get wealthy, and that's what I want from you. I want you to build wealth, but I also want you to keep it. So please be careful and heed my wisdom. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding, Proverbs 4:7 says. Did you know, and I will say this, and then we'll read some more chat. Did you know that the acquisition of wisdom is the highest achievement of man in the entire universe? You might think, well, what about salvation? Ha! Well, that wasn't our achievement, was it? That was Christ's. The highest acquisition of man is the acquisition of wisdom, is what the Bible teaches. Solana's trading at $138. Cardano's sitting at 77 cents. Both of these are likely to continue rallying substantially. Dogecoin, SHIB looking very good. They've gone through major rallies. They may go further. I've already got a position in them because I knew they were going to pump in this bull market. I'm interested in maybe taking a little bit more. They've already rallied so much in the last 7 days. It's like, should I buy some? I don't know if I'm going to. Bought a little bit yesterday. It's obviously up over the last 24 hours, so that's cool. Yeah, a lot of projects. ICP, man, I thought about saying that we should look into buying some ICP yesterday, and I didn't say it. I should have done it. It's up 16% in the last 24 hours. One of them, Caspa. I really want you guys to look at Caspa. It has not pumped on this yet. It's actually down. It's not going to last long. VeChain, still sideways. These two coins are being left behind right now. But the only reason they're being abandoned and left behind is because Bitcoin has the attention. That ain't going to last long. Here in a week or two, Bitcoin's going to get boring again. It's just going to be up and to the right every day, $1,000. It's going to be that kind of boring, right? These altcoins are going to go through big rallies. Caspa, VeChain, probably about to make you a lot of money. That's my opinion. Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball or a magic hot tub or a DeLorean with a time machine in it, but I do have 7 years experience analyzing these markets every day. And I do have a feeling that Caspa and VeChain are about to do very well. All right, again, let's read some chat. Keep it moving here. F1998 said, hey, Jeb, greeting from Macedonia. Can we have technical analysis for CAS and your targets? Sure. We'll look at CAS here in a minute. Buy some Bonk Jeb. Just got listed on Robinhood. Oh, really? I might buy some Bonk then. Oh, well, that would explain why it's up 130% in the last 7 days. I suppose that would make sense. I didn't know it got listed on that. That definitely makes sense. Every time you sell BTC, BlackRock buys it, and they aren't going to move it back. They aren't going to give it back to you. Yeah, BlackRock created this engine of acquiring Bitcoin that is part of their business model. I've done that too, and it works really well. You know what our model was? Our model was, and still is, that you can buy the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy in cryptocurrency. A lot of our early portfolio came from people buying CT2A and Bitcoin. They're like, well, I got a bunch of Bitcoin. I don't have any cash. I'll give you Bitcoin. And people would buy CT2A for $200, and later on, it was worth $3,000. So, yeah, I mean, when businesses come up with a way to acquire Bitcoin through their business model, they acquire a lot of it. I've done that myself. So, more power to BlackRock. That literally, that is a very smart decision for them. And you're right. They're probably not going to sell it. They're probably going to hold on to it for a very long time. What are views on L2 markets for Bitcoin SDX specifically? Stacks, I like it. I haven't looked into it too much and bought it yet, but yeah. You speak as fast as Ben Shapiro, bro. Love both of your streams. Shout out to my yarmulke wearing friend Ben Shapiro. Can't say I agree with him on everything, but just like with everybody, I can't say I disagree with him on everything either. But shout out to Shapiro, I guess, and everybody else out there. Alts are done this year. It's only Bitcoin. At the end of the bull cycle, alts will run. Now it's time for Bitcoin to flip for alts. Yeah, Bitcoin's going to keep the market for a while. If you finally got your wife to hop on the crypto wagon and got a decent lump of cash to invest, would you invest a large lump of cash initially and continue DCAing, or just DCA more and more frequently? What I recommend to people is I have a 10-step plan that I'm working on. I have it completed, but I'm working on turning it into some materials for you. And one of the first steps in the plan is eliminating all of your consumer debt. If you have consumer debt and you got a pile of cash, I understand taking on that on pause for like 6 months, but don't put it on pause for very long. Wipe that out as quickly as you can. Right now, I understand there's a very big opportunity at the very moment. So I understand if you don't eliminate that completely, but start working towards it. After that, make sure that you are saving for your retirement, and that can be putting away Bitcoin and Ethereum that you're going to hold for 30 years. You can call that your retirement. That's fine. But buy something for your retirement and secure your financial future. After that, and that can be stocks too. The stock market, people in cryptocurrency like to crap on it, but there's most people that have anything in retirement is because they put money in their 401k and their IRA. It's the most guaranteed way to become a millionaire in the history of the world. So you can fight with facts all you want, but it's a bit like trying to go toe-to-toe with a brick wall. You're not going to get anywhere. All right? From there, absolutely, if you and your wife are on the same page, let me just be very clear with all the men that are watching, and the women, if some of you got this wrong. If you are married, it is both of your money. I am married. My wife is a full-time stay-at-home mom, and she helps with the channel a little bit, which is extremely helpful. She loves what we do. But when I make money, I make the money, and you know whose money it is? Because we're married, it is our money. It is not, I have not had my own money, and I don't want my own money since we got married. I don't make a financial decision without being on board with my wife. And you know why? Because in Proverbs 31, it says that a good wife helps their husband to prosper and leaves them no reason for spoil. In other words, listen to her, because sometimes she sees something that you don't. And she's like, wait a minute, did you think about that? You're about to put $100,000 there? Are you sure? And you say, yeah. Well, I thought it was good. I thought it was a good idea. And then she'll say, but do you have a written plan? Did you research those altcoins? And you'll say, no, in my monkey brain, I didn't do that. And you know what you should do in that moment? You should say, thank you, wifey. I'll go do that research before I put our money into it. So good on you if you got your wife to hop on the crypto bandwagon. That's awesome. You'll be better off in life if you two work as a team. So good for you. The actual question is, should you put a lump sum or continue DCAing? I would say both right now. The DCAing is the foundation. Then you could put lump sum on top of that. Start with dollar cost averaging. Figure out how much money you're going to put in every month out of your paycheck. From that point, though, then what you can do is you can do a lump sum investment on top of that. I would recommend that you guys put a certain amount. I have a card around here somewhere on my desk. think it's right here. But on this card, I'll show you if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Yes. So, this is how you invest. This right here. You do this, this will change your life. Step 1 of investment. I will invest blank, every blank, in blank, on blank. That's your step. That's your first step. That is your formula for investment. I will invest $1,000 every Friday at 2 p.m. in my altcoin portfolio described in step 2 on Coinbase, Kraken, KuCoin, and Blowfin, because those are the exchanges that I need to get those assets. Figure out how much money you can afford to invest every week. You can do every month. I would recommend every week. I would not recommend every day. You're going to get burnt out because it's a lot of work to dollar cost average every day. It takes an hour or two to do it right. Do it once a week. You can set it up on recurring. I do it manually. However you want to do it. Figure out how much money you can afford to invest. Set aside a quarter of that and put it into a lump sum fund that is earning interest. You can put that in a yield-bearing savings account, or you can put that in a stable coin earning 5%. You can put it wherever you want. Just take it out of the market. Keep it in cash. Put a quarter of what you put in every week into that account. That is where you're going to grow a lump sum pile of cash, because people get rich because a market crash occurs and they got a pile of cash and they buy everything. That's why Berkshire Hathaway has like $500 billion of assets, by the way. You know how they got that? Because whenever the market crashes, they've got a hoard of cash and they buy the crap out of it. They buy you go into any neighborhood and you tell me you have not seen a sign out front of at least one house that says Berkshire Hathaway on it. How do they have that much real estate? Because when 2008 came, they bought everything. Do you want it? Yeah. What is it? I don't care. I'm buying it. That's what they did because they had a hoard of cash. So put a quarter of what you invest every week into a pile of cash. If you've already got a pile of cash, then maybe you just put everything into the market because you've already got the pile of cash. But dollar cost average first. I will invest, or if you're married, we will invest $1,000, $100, $250, $5 every week. You can do every month. Please do every week. It's better. In our altcoin portfolio, as you described. And then you define the exchanges you're going to use. And how do you define the exchanges? Well, you look up what coins you're going to invest in, and then you figure out what exchanges you need. And then you pick the best ones. All right. See you in Monaco. See you in Monaco, my friend. Just donated $5. Said, hey, Jeb, what are your thoughts on the judge ruling that the secondary market sales are in fact securities in that Coinbase insider trading case? So the issue with the Coinbase case, let's pull the article up here. CoinDesk has a good article on it here. U.S. judge enters default ruling against ex-Coinbase insider, says secondary market sales are securities transactions. In May 2023, the SEC settled charges with Isha Wahi and Nikhil Wahi in what it called the first ever insider trading case involving cryptocurrency markets. So in case you don't know, insider trading is where you make a trade based on information that the public does not have, that you were not otherwise allowed to make. Trading of certain crypto assets on a secondary market such as Coinbase, ruled on Friday, yada yada. In an insider trading case involving Coinbase former product manager, that trading of certain crypto assets on a secondary market, which Coinbase is, are securities transaction. The court's analysis remains the same, even to the extent Romani traded tokens on the secondary market, the ruling said. Each issuer continued to make such representation regarding the profitability of their token, even as the tokens were traded on secondary markets. Thus, under Howey, all of the crypto assets that Romani purchased and traded were investment contracts. So here's the issue with this. First and foremost, this is a different case than the other Coinbase case that we're watching. And this is a different court. We have a lot. So how shall I put this? When you have a new area of law being explored by the courts, some courts are going to rule in one direction and some courts are going to rule in the other direction. Most courts so far have ruled that the securities claims are complete and utter bupkis. This court is ruling that they are securities transactions, partially because of how the transactions were actually carried out. The issue with this is, guys, and this kind of, let's get to the real core of the issue. This event is actually not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. What is a big deal is that many altcoins do look like investment contracts. If you read the Howey test, they do look like that. And a lot of people in crypto don't want to say that. They say, oh, they're not securities. I agree. They should not be classified as securities. But when you've got the Howey test, let's read it. Investopedia has it. When you read the Howey test, it kind of reads like cryptocurrencies and their organizations. Howey test says that something is a security if it involves an investment of money in a common enterprise with the expectation of profit to be derived from the efforts of others. An investment of money, in a common enterprise, well, that's where we start asking, are we buying the coin or are we buying the team behind the coin that is building the market? Take a look at VeChain. Let's go to vchain.org. It looks a whole lot like a company's website, doesn't it? What it looks like on the surface. Yeah? They've got a product. They've got something that they do. It makes money. It causes the asset that you buy to get involved in this to go up. There is a centralized organization, i.e. common enterprise. You buy with the expectation of profit. I'm buying VeChain because I hope it goes up, right? To be derived from the efforts of others. Well, who's the efforts of the others? Well, how about the people that are working behind VeChain? How about the people that validate the network? We just have to be honest here. A lot of altcoins that have centralized foundations behind them look like securities. Pause. They should not be regulated as securities because they are fundamentally different investment vehicles. It is a complete and total power grab from Gary Gensler to try and make them all out to be securities. They are not the same thing. The Howey test is a very simple test. It is a very simple classification, and just about anything could fall under that. Let's say that I walked up and I wanted to invest in your lemonade stand. You have a lemonade stand. Well, I say, I'm going to put $10 in here for investment into it. It's an investment of money in a common enterprise with the expectation of profit to be derived from the efforts of others. Does the SEC have any business in that deal? Under the Howey test, what I just did was I entered into a securities dealing. It's fundamentally different because of the size, right? There's a fundamental difference that makes it if we just back up and we get out of the legalese and we do this thing that a lot of lawyers forget, which is called turning on your brain, and we use common sense before we start going, well, actually, it says right here, instead of that nonsense. If we actually turn our brain on and we start using common sense, then we realize cryptocurrency is a fundamentally different market than the stock market. And so it might be that the Securities and Exchange Commission is not equipped to know how to best regulate that market for the benefit of that market. Something Jesus teaches is restoration and restorement and restoration and restoring things, stewarding them, growing them, helping them to be better. You know, my son, here's a real world example. Yesterday, my son and I were like playing cops and robbers, right? My son is Officer Malachi, and then we had Officer Charity, our little 10-month came in, and I'm Officer Jeb, right? We're all officers. And he's like, let's go get those bad guys. Let's throw them in jail. I said, that's all you're gonna do? He said, yeah, let's go get those bad guys and throw them in jail. And I said, well, what about helping them? And he said, well, I'm not a doctor, Daddy. I kid you not. I'm dead serious. This is what he said. He said, well, I'm not a doctor, Daddy. I said, wait, so only doctors help people? And he was like, huh. I was like, a good police officer knows that part of his job is to punish crime, but the totality of the criminal justice system has to also include restoring people where we can help bad people turn into good people. Can I get an amen? Please. It is the job of the government to punish crime and to put boundaries in place. I get that. But the overarching job of an authority, which I am as a parent, I am as a business owner, the overarching job of an authority is to put boundaries in place and to instill punishments and discipline if those boundaries are broken for the benefit of the person that you are in authority over. The Securities and Exchange Commission has gone on a power trip because they're all about saying, here's the boundaries, here's the punishment, and that's it. The Securities and Exchange Commission has absolutely no equipment to be able to regulate the cryptocurrency market in a way that, yes, punishes crime and poor behavior, while also helping to grow the space. Here's my point. If the Securities and Exchange Commission was actually going to help the cryptocurrency space grow and flourish and help people to be more successful, we would open their regulation. We would open wide our arms for their regulation. We would say, come on in, SEC. We would love the help. I don't think anybody is arguing that this should be a lawless wasteland where people can say, oh, well, BitConnect, Luna, FTX. Nobody wants that. Everybody wants there to be laws and some degree of regulation in order so that we don't get rug pulled. Nobody likes getting rug pulled. If anybody actually believed that the Securities and Exchange Commission was going to help nurture the space by acting kind of like a loving parent where we put boundaries in place and we say, no, look, if you go here and you do this, then this is the consequence. But my overarching goal is training you and teaching you and growing you. If the SEC actually was going to act that way, you would have 100 million cryptocurrency users saying, come on in, Gary Gensler, we'd love to have you. Thank you for helping put some guidelines and some order into this space so that we can grow larger. Just because a lot of these altcoins may technically fall into this category is not the point. The point is a regulator's job is to punish bad behavior, but then to restore the entire space in a way that it can grow and flourish. And the SEC has not proven themselves capable or frankly even willing to help grow the space. Therefore, they have no business regulating it. There needs to be a new regulating body. There needs to be a new regulatory governing body created for the cryptocurrency space. That is going to require an act of Congress, but for now, we've got to battle this out in the court. And as much as we possibly can, the SEC needs to get their own butt handed to them on a silver platter because they have not the best interest of the cryptocurrency space in mind. Gary Gensler has basically been completely open and honest about his vehement hatred for this space. When was the last time that you saw a parent raise a good child when they hated them? You tell me one time, you know, you have met tens of thousands of people in your life. Name one of them that them having a parent that hated their guts was good for that child. Name me one time, and I will open the SEC. I will open my arms wide for Gary Gensler and the Securities and Exchange Commission to come in and regulate this space. One time. Name it. Let's read some more chat. Shadrach Frost said, folks, please smash that like button right away. It takes a second and really helps this channel. Give back the love and support that Jeb brings to us on a daily basis. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much, Shadrach Frost. Yeah, let's see if we can't get up to 400 likes. Really appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. I do want to let you guys know real quick that today's stream is also brought to you in part by NordVPN. It is my desire for you guys to be successful in the cryptocurrency space. And one of the things that you want to do to be secure and safe in the cryptocurrency space is to protect yourself. Virtual private networks are there to protect you because they shroud your identity, in other words, your IP address, from public eye. If I'm not going to go on NordVPN's website because it'll show you my IP address and I'd like to keep mine hidden, but if you go on nordvpn.com yourself, it'll show you at the top up there your IP address. They can pull it. Anybody can pull it. And with that IP address, hackers and scammers can do a lot. Use NordVPN and keep yourself safe. Sign up with the link in the description box down below or by going to nordvpn.com/Jeb and protect your investments today, because if you don't, you are leaving yourself exposed to hackers and thieves to come in and steal tens of thousands of dollars from you. It's that simple. NordVPN is the closest thing to an insurance policy that you can possibly get. To be clear, it's not insurance, but it is protection. So go hire yourself a band of mercenaries to protect you called NordVPN. That's why it's called Nord. Got some Vikings. Want some Vikings to protect your cryptocurrency? That's why NordVPN is the way. Sign up today. That rhymed. All right. Gary Gensler is the biggest hater. Bear Freedom said, no, not even close. I assume to the comment I said where you name me one parent that hates their child and at the same time cause that child to flourish. You have to have love for it. If a regulator is going to be a good regulator, they must love the space that they regulate. And that's why people think Gary Gensler is such a fool, because he hates something, but he wants to regulate it. I don't hate people, but if I hated a person, I wouldn't want to be their parent. I don't hate anybody. God forbid I ever do. But if I did, I wouldn't want to be their parent. You think I want to get mixed up in that now? First of all, I know I'm not going to do a good job. Second of all, I know I'm going to hurt them. It's why we say, and why we can see so clearly, the Bible explains it, and I just explained it for you through the biblical lens, but that's why people think that Gary Gensler is such a freaking fool. Because if you're going to be an authority over something, you must have love for it. Do you elect a president that hates you? If a president comes out and calls you deplorable, let's flip the script and you're Donald Trump and he calls you an idiot, right? We'll just go both ways, just for the sake of being impartial. Are you going to want to vote for that person who called you an idiot? Who said that you're a fool? That said that they hate you or that you're deplorable? Are you going to want to vote for that person? No. That's why people are like, oh, Hillary Clinton screwed up so bad in 2016 when she said that. She alienated half the country. They're not going to vote for her now. By the way, Donald Trump did the same thing. I'm not trying to take a stance here. I'm just saying, if you hate somebody, they're not going to put you in authority over them because they don't trust you to help them grow. All right. Could there be a sell wall at 69,420? There very well could be. There very well could be. Let's read some more chat. I got some amens in chat. I love it. It's the fun part, the punishment part. Yeah, if you're power hungry, if you're tripping on power like Gary Gensler, then the punishment part is fun. Let me tell you something. I don't enjoy ever punishing somebody that is under my authority because I'm not evil. I don't enjoy inflicting punishment. I hate that. And I try to avoid it. If you ever do have to punish somebody, like if I have an employee that acts wrong and they did this and that, and I gotta straighten them out, and I gotta come in and have a hard talk and say, look, we do this again, we're fired. Like if I have to do something like that, that is not a good feeling. I don't enjoy that because I'm not a prideful, arrogant jerk that enjoys making other people feel small about themselves. You do have to punish people sometimes if you're in authority over them. If not, then stay out of it. But if you're in authority over them, you do have to do it sometimes for their own good. Why do you take a murderer to prison? For their own good and for the good of everybody else. Yes, punishment is a part of it. Discipline is a part of it. But ultimately, the goal is to cause a heart change. And the same thing needs to be said for Gary Gensler and for whatever regulatory governing body ends up being over cryptocurrency. They need to be working in the best interest of restoration and of growing the space, as we need to be doing in our lives, with our children, with our families, with employees, with anybody that is under us. And we should hope that the authorities over us will act the same way. Smash, rejected off of resistance. It's normal. And that's the warning I was giving you guys. We rallied up here. We've done it before. It may crash lower. We've got this uptrend down here on the 5-minute. Take a look at this. Got an uptrend on the 5-minute. We're going to have a pretty serious, in the next 24 hours, we're going to have a pretty serious test of the all-time high. Because this uptrend on 5-minute is either going to be broken and we're going to crash below it, or we're going to break up above it. But large volatility is coming in the next 24 hours. So just kind of imprint this chart on your mind, pay attention. If we start falling below 66.5, then we're probably going into a protracted correction for a couple of days. If we break above 69,400 or so, 380, which is where we are, then that's where we're probably going into blue sky. Gary dealing with billionaire kids on islands, avoiding taxes and scamming kids. The market is very corrupt. Yeah, Gary Gensler is dealing with some absolutely horrible people. I agree. I totally get it. There's some wicked people out there. But if you define the space as wicked, and you decide that you hate it, you might be able to bring justice, but you will not bring restoration. You will not bring growth. Won't happen. All right, let's read a little bit more chat, and then we're going to wrap it out here. What separates this crypto guy from the others? What separates this crypto guy from the others? What makes me different? Most cryptocurrency enthusiasts are not willing to be very vocal about Christ. And I'm sorry to say that I know some Christians in the cryptocurrency space that are not willing to be as vocal about Christ as I have been, and they've even rebuked me for as open as I've been about Christ. And to that I say, read the Bible. Go to the first few pages of Acts and read where the word bold appears. If we want a revival in this nation, we've got to start being bold for Christ. I am not ashamed of his name. You know why? Because I know he loves you, and following him is the best decision you'll ever make. I don't care if I lose subscribers over that. That's one of the things that makes this channel different. Secondly, since I am not afraid to teach the Bible, I also have the ammunition to teach you the most important thing in the entire known universe that you can acquire, which is wisdom. Proverbs 4:3 says, wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. It should be a crown of grace under thy head and chains about it'll be an ornament of grace under thy head. And if you acquire wisdom, you will be reaching for the most prized possession that you can get in all of the universe. I know some of you are probably thinking about 1 Corinthians 13, the end of the chapter, where it says faith, hope, and love, but among these things the greatest is love. Well, that says among faith, hope, and love, the greatest virtue is love. Proverbs 4:3 says that wisdom is the principal thing among every virtue. It is the only time in the entire Bible that a virtue is described as the principal thing among all. Wisdom is the greatest achievement of mankind. Jeb, what about salvation? That wasn't you. That was Christ. And it says in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 15, that it is by wisdom that men are saved. By godly wisdom, the fear of the Lord, we come to accept Christ as our Savior. Why does all of that make this channel different? Because since I am not afraid to preach on the Bible and teach you guys what it says, and because I am unashamed that this is biblically based education, I get to show you guys what true wisdom is. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, but fools despise knowledge and instruction. That's Proverbs 1:7. When you acquire wisdom, and there is a human wisdom, which doesn't produce fruit, and there's a godly wisdom which does produce fruit. All kinds of fruit: peace, sweet sleep, riches, honor, happiness. All these things are the promises of wisdom. When you acquire godly wisdom, which begins with the fear of the Lord, Let's conclude the whole matter. The purpose of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. Ecclesiastes 12:13. I'm paraphrasing, but that's at the end of the wisdom literature. When you acquire that wisdom, because it's the principal thing, because it is the chief virtue among all virtues, when you acquire that wisdom, you have untold riches, blessings, and honor awaiting you in this life and in the next if you've surrendered your life to Christ, who is wisdom incarnate. That is ultimately what separates this channel. And part of wisdom is financial sovereignty, which, by the way, is a biblically based concept as well. This channel is completely welcome and open to anybody who doesn't follow the gospel. That's totally fine. I love you so much, and I'm so honored that you're here, and I will do my very best to never, ever, ever alienate you. But part of what we do here is we're very open about that, because I love you too much not to tell you. To wrap out this segment of what I'm talking about, and then we'll read some more chat, there was somebody, I don't know who it was, or I'd give them credit, who said that the reason that they have to be so bold about the gospel is because one day we will go to meet our Father in heaven. We will meet him in the clouds. The Bible says that if we are alive on the day where Christ returns, we will be taken up into the clouds. I don't want that day to come, because it may come in our lifetimes. I don't want that day to come and look back down on earth, and those of you who watched me for days, weeks, months, years, to look up at me and say, Jeb, how did I not know this was happening? Why didn't you tell me the judgment day was coming, that I have the ability to follow a Savior and have eternal life with him? Why didn't you tell me? I don't want to look back down on earth and say, because I was scared I was going to offend you. Because you know what the translation for that is? The translation is, I didn't love you enough to hurt your feelings and tell you the truth. I don't want to leave anybody behind if I can help it. Let's read some chat. That's what makes this channel different. Jeb doesn't shill coin sponsors either. That makes him a different YouTuber too. Yep. Never taken a coin sponsorship, never will. We've been offered tens of thousands of dollars, probably over $100,000 at this point for coin sponsorships. Never do it. We've taken all kinds of sponsorships. You got two of them right there. Blowfin, NordVPN. Go ahead and sign up for them. Great projects. Lux Algo's down there. Awesome product as well. But the kingdom of heaven is within you, not in the sky. Well, it's both. Was Jesus a hodler? He held on to the word of God. Love your honesty and heart, mate. My heart is to help you guys. And it's the only way I know how to give you anything that will last. It's the only way I know how to give anything to you that'll last. And to the Christians that are on YouTube. And feel free to clip this and send this to any other crypto YouTuber that you know. I don't care if I offend them, because I love them. If we are not being vocal about Christ, I'm not saying that every single piece of content, I'm not even saying that 5% of it has to be us talking about Jesus. I understand we're here to talk about crypto and not about Jesus. But if anybody's ashamed of it, or thinks that there's a place to be too bold about it, I challenge them to repentance. We've got to be bold for the gospel. We've got to be bold for wisdom, because it's the only thing that can actually help any one of you. If I get you rich on earth and you don't get the gospel, you're going to lose all of that. I pray for you guys. I love you. Desperately, I love you. And I want what's actually going to bring fruit. All right. Off my soapbox. When in this cycle is the official altcoin season? More than likely, that's going to come in the next few months. I think that Bitcoin is going to have some value is going to cycle out of Bitcoin. And it's going to go into the altcoins over the course of the next few months. I think the altcoin season is about to come in big force. That's why yesterday I gave you a warning that now is starting to be your last time to get in on altcoins. So make sure that you are investing in them as well. 30% correction is always on the table. Pew Pew Poom 2 said it. That's exactly right. That's one of the warnings that I want to give you guys today, is that there is very likely going to be a major correction on Bitcoin at some point in the next 2 to 6 weeks. May not be right now. We might break all-time. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. We may break all-time high and break straight up towards $100,000. But we are going to, at some point, there's going to be a 20 to 30% correction. So just be ready for it. Just don't be overexposed or overextended. My wife, Sarah, is asking for your wife, Sarah. Lol, where is she? She is in the other room right now. But she is awesome, and it is our anniversary, and I love my wife dearly. And she is the greatest thing that I've ever been given. Proverbs 18:21 says, the power of life and death is in the tongue, and those who love it will reap the reward thereof. And right after that, funnily enough, it's probably talking to us men who know how to tear things down with our words. It says, he that finds a wife finds a good thing and receives blessings from the Lord. Obviously, that is if your wife is walking in a godly way, because there is a time where your wife could not be acting like a blessing in the same way a husband could not be acting like a blessing. But if they're acting right, they're a blessing from the Lord, and they are the greatest blessing that you will ever receive. Without evil, good cannot exist. Duality. Spirituality and succeeding in crypto go hand in hand. Most people don't know that. Exactly, Naked Director. You get it. Look, I sit here on stream and I just run through the scriptures in my mind and I think about how I can possibly show this to you. I need the Lord's help. Will ADA go up to $4? Yes, there's a video coming out today on why I believe that there is going to be a big rally on Bitcoin. And I do believe, on Cardano, and I do believe that Cardano will go well beyond that. Watch our afternoon video today coming out at 2 p.m. and we will talk more about that. More content coming on that today. I don't like getting off stream. Did you guys know? Let me just let you on a secret. Did you know that the official end time for the stream is 10:45? We almost never get off the stream at 10:45 because I always go longer. I probably should. But yeah. And guys, there was a time where I thought I knew everything, and where I thought, no, this is all a bunch of nonsense. This Jesus stuff. I used to make fun of Christians. I'm not gonna lie, I did. Lord forgave me of that, but I used to make fun of it. I was a scorner in the truest sense of the word. Till I hit rock bottom, and then I realized what I needed was not something that I could provide myself with. Because if I was the problem, how could I possibly be the solution? Think about that. All right, guys. Like I said, we're going to wrap it out. Stay tuned. We got more content coming this afternoon. Shadrach Frost said, Jeb, thank you for your passion and honesty. You be blessed, my brother. Someday I'll be honored to sit and read the Bible with you. Hashtag respect. Hashtag faith. Love that as well, Shadrach Frost. For the Christians that are listening, I challenge you on this day of celebration as Bitcoin hit all-time high. I will take this opportunity and use it for the most important thing I could ever teach you. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. We've got a lot of Christians out there that are afraid to preach the gospel because they're ashamed of it. They're ashamed of it. Don't be ashamed of the gospel. In a sentence, I'll tell you why. Jesus says, if you are ashamed of him, he will be ashamed of you. That sounds a lot like unforgiveness to me. That sounds a lot like hell to me. Please be very careful about being ashamed of his name. Please, I beg you, be very careful about being ashamed of his name for the sake of anything on this earth. Please be very careful. Jeb, if you read the theory that the millennium reign already happened, it's very interesting. If you have time, it's worth checking it out. Love you, brother. I have heard about that theory. The millennium reign of Christ has a lot of components to it that certainly could not have occurred. I don't think. I could look into it more, but I don't believe that that's the way. If you read Revelation, the most sensical way to read it is chronological order. Love Caspa. Yes, Caspa is a great project. Looking into getting some more of that too. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it out. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. Go be bold. Love people. Restore people. Teach people. Teach people. Teach people how to succeed. All right, guys. I do appreciate all of you tuning in. Very excited that Bitcoin hit all-time high. More content coming out. And yes, we do talk about crypto. I know I've talked quite a lot about the Lord today, and we don't normally do that on every stream. This is a crypto-focused channel, but it is a faith-based channel. There's a difference. It's focused on crypto, based in faith. So definitely talked quite a bit about the faith today. All right, guys. Like I said, I appreciate all of you for tuning in. Hope you did enjoy. Before we go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good